Olá, boa noite. O Exou Biribó, hoje com o vídeo 12 de The Witcher 2. No encalço de Leto, para libertar Triss, Geralt aderiu aos Scoia'tael e chegou com isso a Erdin, caindo no meio da disputa pelo trono local, agravada pela maldição de mortos-vivos, desencadeada com a morte de um sacerdote no terreno que fora um campo de batalha. E por falar em campo de batalha, o texto de localização que eu não tinha lido ontem é o campo de batalha. O sítio não parecia excepcional, mesmo em um dia ensolarado, mas foi aqui que uma sangrenta batalha terminou em um cataclismo mágico há muitos anos atrás. Ravinas rochosas deram lugar a uma planície esculpida com trincheiras e brechas abertas no chão por trabucos e magias da feiticeira Sabrina Glevzik. Em parte era quase sobreposta por uma grama que cobria armaduras enferrujadas de ferro e ossos quebrados. Uma vez que a maldição foi lançada, uma parte do campo de batalha foi tragada por uma névoa medonha. Dentro dela se extraía um mundo que mais parecia um pesadelo. Os fantasmas caídos promulgaram a batalha que tinham reivindicado as suas vidas. E a missão é o Conselho de Guerra. Depois de chegarem a Vergen, Saskia e Stennis deixaram Geralt à sua própria sorte. O ancião Cecil Burdon cumprimentou o bruxo. Descobriu-se que por causa da ameaça caeldiana, os portões seriam fechados. Um debate seria realizado onde todos os participantes iriam discutir como acabar com essa ameaça. O bruxo foi convidado também, mas no momento ele poderia descansar num quarto da pousada local. Seguindo o sobrinho de Burdon até a pousada, o nosso herói pensou profundamente sobre a situação do Alto Aerdin.
Look, another one. You let one human in and in no time you've got a swarm. You can't stay there. I heard human women need only sit astride a man's pants for their bellies to offer.
This shall be your chamber, Witcher. They say Selkirk of Gullet himself slept in this bed before battle. Didn't bring him any luck, but at least he was well rested before he died. Need anything else? Thanks, Skaden.
Sem objetivo.
Slug it between the eyes!
Since when do noblemen fight peasants?
Sign of the times. Saskia treats the peasantry as our equals. And once you let a dog inside, it'll never sleep in the doghouse again. But that's not for me to judge. The point is, you can make good coin on fistfights. Care to give it a go?
Any rules to this?
Each contender puts down his stake, which rises the more fights he wins. If you want to fight, put down some coin. Up for the next fight, or are you just going to stand there and go?
Agora eu vou ficar parado. Agora não.
I've got more pressing business than slapping people around. Enjoy yourselves.
Stop stroking him and rough him up!
Nova missão, 1 contra 1, Vergen. Os anões de Vergen gostavam de passatempos simples, e os torneios de luta estavam entre eles. Na época houve um torneio que oferecia recompensas monetárias que acontecia na pousada e Geralt decidiu disputar. O jovem Zin seria seu primeiro adversário.
Lots going on around here.
Aye, we've got a virgin dragon slayer, squirrels dazzled with her, politicking peasants, witches and a witcher, and onlookers gawking at the whole thing.
Hope things get back to normal soon.
Very true. Sets my teeth on edge.
Greetings!
Geralt, right? My uncle's told me a lot about you. Nice work with those spectres. And Saskia? Well, I wager the gods didn't think you could save her.
Your uncle?
Cecil! I help him out here and there managing Vergen. Scaling Burdens, my name.
Nice to meet you.
O que tem a dizer sobre Cecil?
Is Cecil your guardian?
Aye. Ever since my parents passed on. He took me in, fed me, taught me a profession and how to live, really.
How did your parents die?
During one of the massacres Demavend arranged for us. But I'd rather not talk on that.
Sure, sorry.
O plano de lutar na batalha.
What'll you do when the battle rolls around?
I'll be right out front fighting. Uncle Cecil's allowed it. Says I'm an adult. I'm gonna kick some kid when he asks.
No fears?
Of what? My uncle believes I can do it, and Yarpen taught me how to swing an axe with follow-through. I'll smash a few heads, then go to the tavern and drink till I drop.
Cecil vai ficar orgulhoso. Na guerra pode acontecer qualquer coisa, tenha muito cuidado.
You're a tough dwarf. Cecil must be proud.
He raised me to be a decent fella, and I'll not bring him shame, so help me. Otherwise, he'll take an oak club to my arse.
Queda de braço não, jogar dados ainda não. Até logo.
One freak bigger than the next.
Por nossa e pela sua liberdade. Pela nossa e pela sua liberdade. Temos um quadro de editais aqui. Missões paralelas. Cadê os contratos que ele pegou? Carta de Margot para Iorveth. Ao contrário de suas afirmações, Einar Galzel não colaborou. Ele só recua diante de Loredo quando estritamente necessário e nunca é servil. Louis Merce, no entanto, deveria ser um objetivo. Ele tem um parentesco com o comandante. Lhe trouxeram de Deus sabe onde e ele se tornou a peça mais importante da máquina burocrática. Ele dança ao som dessa velha bruxa do Clovice. Você deveria recorrer a ela também. Eu tenho um assunto pessoal para tratar com ela. Os de Lobenden são todos bons, não toque neles. Eu sugiro que você faça contato com a Nesca. As pessoas estão acostumadas com suas incursões ao bosque. Ela poderia carregar mensagens e ninguém repararia. Eu acho que talvez ela seja uma bruxa, e no mínimo ela ajuda minhas garotas quando elas estão em problemas. Alguém tentará linchá-la mais cedo ou mais tarde. Então você poderia oferecer proteção em troca de sua ajuda. E não sei o que pensar sobre essa Malena. Claro, os contratos devem estar nas missões, mas ele pegou 4 contratos e só ficou um aqui. O contrato das arpias. No Alto Aerdin, Geralt foi à procura de trabalho. Quando soube que as autoridades de Vergen tinham postado uma recompensa Para reduzir a população de arpias do local, ele se candidatou para o cargo. Primeiro, ele decidiu aprender mais sobre os hábitos das criaturas aladas. Foi exterminando uma por uma ou lendo a biografia especializada sobre elas. Cabeleireira em Vergen. Todos os humanos e elfos, como os anões preocupados com o estado de suas barbas, são alertados que uma cabeleireira estimada em todo o mundo chegou a Vergen. É uma linda moça cujo nome é Felícia Core. Ela é uma verdadeira feiticeira com sua tesoura, ao qual posso atestar pessoalmente. Eu encorajo todos os moradores a desfrutar de seus serviços e negar aos visitantes afirmações como em que as barbas dos anões são locais onde os corvos fazem seus ninhos, e que Vergen é uma poça d'água estagnada, imune a novidades e novas modas. Mademoiselle Cori presta serviços em Rundrum Square, bem perto do caldeirão. Ela é rápida, higiênica e eficiente, e seus preços são mais do que razoáveis. Cecil Burdon, conselheiro municipal. Felícia Core. Como se viu, a jovem adepta à magia Felícia Core era realmente uma talentosa cabeleireira. Geralt poderia usar os seus serviços e mudar de penteado por uma taxa modesta. Sem notícias no quadro.
Don't try anything. Don't try anything.
Essa daqui, castelo. Castelo dos Três Pais. Eu ia ler o Castelo das Três Pias. Ia dizer que bom que as nossas três pias vieram. Dar uma olhada nas imediações. Matias Foster realizou 180% de sua cota. O que você tem feito para cumprir o plano? Do que tinha para cá, eu acho. Menos o quarto do andar superior. Que era onde ele tinha que vir, então.
You missed quite a scrap, gentlemen, and an opportunity to slay a monarch. There was a struggle and the prince was wounded.
You've all seen the magical phenomenon covering the battlefield. For any who still have doubts, this is no mundane mist, nor a petty fairground illusion. Most likely, we're up against a blood curse, an old and powerful spell. We do not know who cast it or why. For now, I have one piece of good news and several pieces of bad news. The good news is that Henselt and his army have been halted for the time being.
And the bad news?
The mist will grow. It may even engulf Vergen. Furthermore, wraiths may emerge from it.
Can they be made penitent? With an axe to the head?
In theory, yes, but I would suggest putting your faith in a silver weapon. Furthermore, the ghosts will weaken as they move away from the mist.
Is there any way to drive it off? Exorcise it?
A question for myself and Geralt of Rivia.
The Kingslayer?
Contrary to what old women at the wells say, he did not, in fact, slay any kings.
Course he didn't. Wouldn't hurt a fly, that one. Look at his eyes. You'll see he's the sensitive kind.
Whatever you may see in his eyes, few know more about lifting curses. Gentlemen, I do not require you to understand this phenomenon, but there are a few rules I insist you must follow.
Here we go.
No one is to approach the mist. It is mortally dangerous. In addition, we need to learn the story of the battle. For this, I especially count on the aid of Mr. Cecil Burden.
At your service, my lady.
Thank you. To lift the curse, we require some objects symbolic of the war. Ones belonging to those who perished here 3 years past.
Pfft. More scrap iron from that massacre lying about than lice in Cecil's beard. I thought curses were best handled with...
Please leave the thinking to me, Mr. Zigrin, and I'd gladly hear less from you from now on. The objects must be magically active and strictly linked to the ghosts of the fallen. That is all.
Let me be clear. You're all to aid Philippa and the Witcher. What are you grumbling about now, Yarpen?
It's something in my gullet.
Take a swig of wine. Now, to worldly matters. How many are we?
Saskia, you know well,
How many?
we dwarves are near 200. But don't judge us by our number.
1,000 peasants will come, though you'll get no precise count.
My lords?
53 knights and another 200 armed men. Not enough.
Henselt leads 5,000, 5-1 against us. What think you of that?
We are few, they are many. But we have our walls, low though they be. If we had archers, who knows?
Oh, for a regiment of heavy arbalists from Lyria.
We have something better. Jorvith's elves. Scoia'tael. Gentlemen, I give you Jorvith.
What do you seek here, murderer?
100 of the North's best archers await your orders, Dragon Slayer.
You wished for archers, here they are. I take no pleasure in fraternizing with elves. Not even a shit-coated stick can be a weapon. He burned down the villages of many in my horde.
The free peasantry is one thing, but a criminal with a price on his head in all the northern realms? This is too much.
Saskia, say the word and we'll depart.
Hear me out. Jorvith came to fight for me. I trust him, and I know that he'll stay the course. Just like each of you.
How could you know that? He's an elf! Treason runs in his veins!
He's been fighting humans for a century.
But for the first time in scores of years, his fight makes sense. The Scoia'tael know no peace. They've died for Nilfgaard, for the Valley of the Flowers, in vain. They've been betrayed and cheated. Now they have a new goal. The Pontar Valley could be the first state where no man would have to fear elven arrows when venturing beyond city walls. And elves and dwarves wouldn't live in ghettos or on reservations. First, however, we have a battle to win. You know who we're up against. It's a splendid army, brave and well led. They cannot be scared off or routed. They have to be killed. I want Jorvith to sit at the same table as we do. I want him to kill Cadweni for us. And I assure you that he'll do so with a smile, if only you let him.
If I'm to see a smile on that skinny face, I'm in. Jorvith stays.
Bloody hell! Father's turning in his grave, but a must's a must. I say aye.
Nay. You killed my men, elf. Remember them?
If I hadn't killed them, they'd have killed me.
All right. For the sake of better times, and for Kedwin's doom, aye!
Down with the sons of bitches! Cheers!
Poison! She's dying. Take her somewhere safe and guard her with your lives. I'll gather what I need and join you soon.
I'll place my best warriors on watch.
Quickly, lads! A litter!
She ceased casting spells. Saskia, is she alive?
In a manner of speaking. I've slowed her life functions as far as possible. Her condition is stable.
Você pode ouvi-la? Qual é o veneno?
What can we do?
Treatment will require herbs, magic, and blood.
Not ordinary blood, I presume.
Correct. We require royal blood.
We could use Letho right now.
Por que precisa de sangue?
The nearest king is on the other side of the Mist of Wraiths.
You misunderstood me. It need not be the blood of a ruling monarch. It is the genotype contained in royal blood that is required. Kings issue from ancient dynasties. Over the ages, to survive, rulers needed exceptional resistance and strength. As royal dynasties rarely admit common blood, the strength of their genes remains great. I shall employ self-healing genetic therapy that will teach Saskia's body how to rid itself of the poison.
You'll have her drink human blood.
No, I shall inject it directly into her heart.
Quais ervas?
What kind of herbs are we talking about?
I'll need a subterranean variety of purple foxglove, known to the dwarves as the immortelle, and an elven rose of remembrance.
Tris tem uma rosa da lembrança, mas só que ela está desaparecida, né? Onde posso procurar perpétuas?
Where will we find immortelles?
They grow deep beneath the earth, which should not be a problem as Vergen lies on top of a mine.
How will they help Saskia?
Mage pain wreaks havoc in internal tissues. The immortelle will help restore them.
Tris tem uma rosa da lembrança.
Triss had a rose of remembrance. She claimed the flowers are exceptional.
Long ago, the Enshe who succeeded in cultivating the roses enjoyed great respect,
Times have changed.
as have elves.
There are no elven gardens nearby. We must return to Flotsam.
Triss has a rose of remembrance from Flotsam. It's her we need to find.
Que mais você precisa?
What else do you need to heal Saskia?
Thaumadour is a self-perpetuating substance. Any incursion into a cluster of poisoned cells causes an immediate chain reaction. Each tainted cell that is removed is replaced by 10 new tainted cells. To interrupt this reaction, I'll need an ungodly amount of the power. A water or air genie, or one of the 20 legendary rings of power would be best.
One to bring them all and in the darkness bind them.
Right. And then I'll have to run barefooted to the top of a volcano.
All right. Let's forget the rings. I need a vast quantity of the power, no matter the source. Find something.
An immortelle, a rose of remembrance, royal blood and magic sounds like a fairy tale.
A poor one at that. No prince's kiss to top things off.
I wish it were a fairy tale, especially a poor one, as a happy ending would then be inevitable. May I count on your help, Geralt?
You may. What about the Battle of Wraiths?
I must first see if the spells keeping Saskia alive are in order. Then we'll consider how best to send the spectres to their rest. Actually, you could tend to that yourself. Ask the locals about the battle, and maybe you'll learn something.
In that case, I shall search for the poisoner.
Missão completada, o Conselho de Guerra. Nova missão, vida subterrânea. Chamar Philippa Eilhart de curandeira era o mesmo que chamar um afogador de nadador. Entretanto, Philippa era uma feiticeira e das poderosas. Embora curar não fosse sua especialidade, ela poderia ajudar a envenenada Saskia. Para criar uma cura, ela precisaria de alguns ingredientes especiais, entre os quais estava uma perpétua. Geralt começou a procura perguntando a um de seus amigos anões de Vergen, Zoltan, como se chamava, se encontrava na pousada local. Caçando magia. Saskia estava morrendo depois de ter sido envenenada durante a reunião do conselho, e quase todos os que apoiavam sua causa rezavam agora por sua saúde. Mas entre seus aliados havia pessoas que não acreditavam nos deuses, ou ao menos na intervenção divina. Eilhart, o tipo de mulher que se enrolava e começava a lançar feitiços quando as coisas ficavam feias, se encaixava nessa descrição. Assim, quando Geralt ficou sabendo de que um dos ingredientes da cura para a matadora de dragões era um artefato mágico, pensou que Filipa seria a consultora ideal. Para tanto, decidiu ter uma conversa com ela em sua casa. Sangue real. Era uma lástima Filipa não precisar de lágrimas de crocodilo e de um sorriso de uma feiticeira, como ingredientes para o antídoto de Saskia. Eu acredito que o bruxo teria mais facilidade em obter um desses. Como isso não foi possível, ele teve que adquirir um pouco de sangue real, literalmente. Havia só 2 doadores potenciais na área, Henselt e Stennis. Onde está Tris Merigold? Atualização. Se seguir lendo, você entenderá que Geralt conseguiu grandes feitos em Aerdin. Ele lutou em guerras, matou monstros, destronou reis e causou excitações doentias em feiticeiras. No entanto, você deve entender que sua prioridade era de encontrar Tris. Feiticeiras, assim como todas as outras mulheres, andam em grupos. Assim sendo, em sua busca, Geralt foi até a casa de Filipa Eilhart. Entretanto, a excitação doentia estava fora de questão neste caso. Nova missão, a Batalha Eterna. Só as relíquias vinculadas aos fantasmas têm sentido no mundo dos espectros. Depois de uma consulta com Filipa Eilhart, Geralt constatou que precisava de objetos simbolizando ideais de guerra, mais especificamente, objetos representando ódio, coragem, fé e morte. O bruxo então embarcou numa busca pelo estandarte da bandeira de Dun, Dun, o símbolo da morte, e da espada que pertenceu ao famoso general Vandergriff. A feiticeira prometeu encontrar um medalhão e um fragmento de armadura do corajoso Celtkirk. Nova missão, uma questão de vida ou morte. Como você já sabe, Saskia, conhecida por aqueles que a amavam como a Virgem de Aerdin e pelas pessoas próximas ao rei Henselt como a Puta Insolente, tinha sido envenenada. Existem várias histórias sobre como o bruxo havia curado a moça, como ele subiu a montanha de cristal e a curou beijando seus lábios vermelhos. Bem, nenhuma delas é verdadeira. Vários ingredientes incomuns foram necessários para preparar o antídoto, isto é, uma rosa da lembrança, o sonho de um dragão, uma perpétua e sangue real. O bruxo começou sua busca por estes ingredientes. O Conselho de Guerra, últimas atualizações dessa missão terminada. Apesar dos padrões dos anões, o aposento de Geralt se mostrou bastante confortável. O bruxo se acomodou e, uma vez pronto, foi ao Conselho de Guerra. Bem, isso nunca chegou a ser um debate. Os participantes discutiram a melhor forma de repelir Henselt. Havia tantos cargos e propostas como havia polemistas e discordantes. Felizmente, a tarefa do bruxo era simples: acabar com a maldição no campo de batalha com a ajuda de Filipa Eilhart, e assim livrar-se da névoa espectral e permitir que os exércitos se movam um contra o outro. O bruxo teria começado imediatamente, satisfeito por deixar debatedores vomitando palavras e saliva, mas ocorreu uma tragédia. Saskia foi envenenada. A menina agonizante foi levada para sua casa, enquanto Geralt, Iorveth e Cecil ficaram na porta à espera de notícias. Quando apenas Filipa surgiu, o bruxo começou a questioná-la sobre as condições da matadora de dragão. A condição de Saskia era muito ruim e estava piorando. O bruxo não só teve que achar um modo para parar a maldição no campo de batalha, mas também pegar um antídoto para o veneno de Saskia o mais rápido possível. Kalten. As revoluções são um terreno fértil para monstros, e sem dúvida, Kalten era um exemplo para todos. A personificação dos desejos, frustrações e temores mais primitivos dos camponeses, sem as cadeias morais. Este tipo de pessoa pode cometer os atos mais horríveis e a lista de atrocidades deste fazendeiro era muito extensa. Iorvet atualização. Quando Iorvet escolheu lutar por um vale do Pontar livre, ele fez um juramento de fidelidade a Saskia. Ele ficou ao lado de seres humanos defendendo Vergen. Muitos ficaram preocupados com essa mudança súbita nesse intransigente inimigo dos Doain, um elfo responsável por mais de uma aldeia arrasada e pelas lágrimas de mais de uma mãe sobre o filho morto. No entanto, Saskia tinha plena confiança no comandante dos Scoia'tael, o que acabava com toda a discussão. Philippa Earhart, atualização. As qualificações dela no domínio de maldições, magia e fenômenos sobrenaturais eram inegáveis. Se havia alguém para ajudar o bruxo a este respeito, era certamente a senhorita Earhart. Ainda assim, fiquei extremamente feliz por Geralt, e não eu, ter sido forçado a falar com a feiticeira Tretogoriana. Philippa foi quem forneceu a lista de ingredientes para fazer um antídoto para a substância que envenenou Saskia. O conhecimento de receitas, ingredientes e suas propriedades específicas foram muito úteis na aprendizagem da magia arcana, e poucos poderiam se igualar a ela nesse sentido. Fazer caçando magia, fale com Philippa em sua casa, que por acaso não é aqui, é lá longe. Para cá que eu vou encontrar Philippa.
So, you thought it over? I'm on my way to the recruiting station.
I don't know.
What's to consider? Yorvith's not just any troublemaker.
Elves, they talk a lot, think very little. In the end, they end up dead, shouting, we really show them.
Yorvith's different.
Desculpe a indiscrição.
What is it, Witcher?
Who is that girl?
Cynthia, a leashed sorceress.
A charming expression. Do you also use muzzles?
Leash means a connection between a sorceress and her assistant. An unfortunate term, I admit, but it explains how things are. Cynthia can tap my power, use my spells. She's a conduit. And she's learning along the way. It's convenient, and except for the name, not derisive at all. But you're not here to talk about Cynthia.
At the council, you mentioned artifacts were needed to undo the curse.
But I can't look for them now.
I can do that.
Why?
I have my reasons. Tell me something.
Nem todos os fantasmas eram agressivos, você notou?
Did you notice? Not all the ghosts were aggressive.
Yes. Most just disappeared when they touched the aura of a living person.
I think the curse corrupts the ghosts of the fallen and turns them into draugrs.
Is that the Witcher's professional name for wraiths?
Draugrs are demons of war. They arise at sites of exceptionally vicious, bloody battles. Their bloodlust and hatred in condensed form.
Can you kill them by conventional means?
A silver sword is enough for a draugr, but as long as the curse remains active, new ones will arise. The soldiers' ghosts are the key. If I could turn the tide of the battle...
For that you'll need symbols of war belonging to those who fell in battle. Hatred, death, courage, and faith. All artifacts must be magically active and connected to the fallen, or they won't lure the ghosts.
Right. I'll look around.
Finding two will be enough. Get the symbols of hatred and death and leave the rest to me.
I'd prefer courage and faith.
Don't fuss.
I'll see what I can do. Cecil seems to know a lot about the area.
Agora que ela falou sobre isso que a gente já tinha lido lá nos nossos arquivos, né? O Dandelion fica dando spoiler da história do jogo. Sabe alguma coisa sobre maldições de sangue?
Know anything about blood curses?
Do you?
We're dealing with a 4th level curse, also known as the Curse of the Archmistress.
Well, well, I'm impressed.
Thing is, until now I thought it was only a myth, that such a curse couldn't be cast.
You thought wrong. There are 6 confirmed cases of this curse being inflicted.
What about confirmed cases of it being lifted?
1. Achieved by a team of sorcerers led by Archmistress Francesca Finderbear, hence the curse's other name. Sabrina Glevizig was on the team.
Small world.
That's not all. The curse investigated by Francesca and Sabrina was designed to end the Tyson dynasty, the rulers of Kovir. They were cursed by Scarlet Rodalega, a complete madman, but very talented. An eclipse and wraiths also accompanied his curse.
So Sabrina's curse is just a knockoff Rodalega.
Exactly.
O que Francesca aprendeu?
Can Francesca's experience help us?
Certainly. I know the symbols and the workings of the curse thanks to her.
Care to explain? I'm the one risking my neck.
You'll have to relive the battle and change its course at the right moment. I don't know exactly what will happen. Nobody does.
I'll look for those artifacts.
E o que aconteceu aqui 3 anos atrás?
What happened here 3 years ago?
Henselt attacked Edern, but met his match. Nobody won that war. Sabrina Glevizig got into a conflict with the commander-in-chief of the Kedweni forces, and this led to both armies being routed. Fireballs turned the battlefield into a flaming tomb. Henselt accused Sabrina of using a forbidden weapon.
And Sabrina cursed Henselt.
I think so. I suspect the curse got out of hand because of the circumstances.
Circumstances? The stars weren't right, wrong phase of the moon. There's always an excuse for simple bungling.
She placed the curse while burning at the stake. Her hands and feet nailed to a wagon wheel. I'd say she did a good job, considering.
Sobre isso já é suficiente.
I'm good for now. I'll let you know when I learn something.
Artefato mágico. Você disse que precisava encontrar um.
You said we'd need a magical object to cure Saskia. Any ideas where I might start looking?
Magical items do not grow on trees, as you know. Luckily, this area has a long history. There's the Battle of Wraiths, the site of Sabrina Glevizig's death and suffering, the abandoned mines.
I was hoping you'd be specific.
I won't ask you to traipse around with a divining rod, but please try to be a little inventive. Ask the locals, that's always a good place to start. I dare say Alderman Burden knows every last stone in the area. Maybe you should see him.
Estou procurando por Tris. Você já sabe, né? Não deu bola, mas eu quero encontrá-lo. E, aliás, preciso por causa da Rosa da Lembrança também.
I'm looking for Triss. Letho forced her to teleport near Vergen.
Letho?
Voltest's killer. Perhaps Demavend's too. Will you help me find her?
Certainly. We sorceresses must stick together. We have too many enemies.
Triss contacted you through Sheila de Tanzerville's megascope while in Flotsam.
And I haven't heard from her since.
Can you locate her?
A megascope responds to a person's aura. If I had something of hers, I could find her. You were close to her. Maybe you have something.
No, I don't have anything.
Not good. Wait. A local drunkard claims he saw a redhead fall out of the sky. This could be a lead.
Você quer que eu leve a sério um bêbado? Tris não é a única ruiva por aí. Caiu do céu, hein?
I never heard of flying women before.
Perhaps they're just drunken delusions. It's possible, however, that an unstable teleport ejected Triss near the town.
As it's our only lead, I'll talk to this drunkard. Do you know him?
I'm not used to associating with drunkards, but you'll likely find him in the inn.
Thank you.
Come back as soon as you learn anything.
Quem é Leto, já que você mostrou que o conhece?
Have you heard about a Witcher's school? Apparently the Viper's their sign.
No, why do you ask?
The Kingslayer wears a medallion adorned with a viper.
Pretentious and childish for my taste. He can't be very smart.
O que você está fazendo em Erd?
How is it that King Radovid's court sorceress and advisor is supporting a rebellion in Edern?
This has grown into more than a simple rebellion, Witcher. Prince Stennis' arrival here confirmed Saskia's right to represent Edern.
Saskia isn't fighting for Edern, but for the Pontar Valley. Even Prince Stennis considers you rebels. He hasn't moved against you because war with Kedwen hangs by a thread. Why are you here, Sorceress of Tretagor?
It is my duty.
If Henselt occupies the Pontar Valley, Redania and Temeria will respond strongly. The North will disintegrate, its unity gone. A dark scenario that is nevertheless avoidable, provided Saskia is successful and wins the valley's independence.
Even if she thwarts Henselt, there'll be no independence without agreement from Redania and Temeria.
Temeria's expansionist plans melted away with Foltest's death. Redania's ruler is unpredictable, but even he'll have to respect a victory. I'm here to make this victory a fact.
Ouvi que Saskia matou dragão.
Is what they say true? Did Saskia kill a dragon?
Prince Stennis decorated her for it at the court in Vengerberg, so it appears to be true. If you want to know the details, talk to Biggerhorn. Apparently he witnessed it.
E a caçada selvagem?
A sorceress like you ought to know bundles about the wild hunt.
A sorceress's knowledge has nothing to do with superstitions.
The hunt's not a superstition.
True, the phenomenon seems to exist.
I want to know everything there is to know about it.
It's strictly atmospheric. It doesn't interest me. Just as whirlwinds, whirlpools and snowfalls do not interest me.
Eu tenho uma tatuagem. Você quer ver?
Know how to remove a tattoo?
There's a cure for everything, except stupidity. I'll need some green mould, white myrtle petals and wolf's aloe.
I'll be back once I've found the ingredients.
Remember the antidote for Saskia. It's very important.
Dela ele não pode roubar nada. Livros. Enquanto a aprendiz de bruxa de feiticeira tá aqui esperando ele ir embora para voltar para massagem. Quem é você?
Who are you?
I'm Cynthia, a mage in training. Philippa is my mentor.
My condolences.
No need for that. True, she's a demanding mistress, but she can also be charming. Besides, she's the best there is, Witcher. She has no equals, excepting perhaps the old elven sorceresses. You should see her cast spells. Light and graceful she is. Not like that old tart de Tanzaville.
Quanto custa curso de magia nos dias de hoje? Você conhece Cilly de Tansarville?
You know Sheila?
I've seen her cast spells. I've seen all the great sorceresses at work. Sheila's quite manly in her style. Precise, logical, exceptionally composed, but she lacks grace and suppleness.
Is that your opinion, or are you just repeating what Philippa says?
We agree in our assessment. Triss Marigold, on the other hand, is talented, but she lacks determination, courage, and a certain cold willfulness that seems necessary.
That's interesting.
Kira Metz and Margarita Low-Antiel are both blasé, seemingly resigned. One's a hedonist and nymphomaniac, the other cares only about her school. They lost enthusiasm for magic long ago. Then there's Francesca Finderbear. Nobody really knows what the old she-elf is capable of, but she's clearly very powerful.
I take it Philippa has none of these flaws, but she must have some weakness.
Ambition. Infinite, boundless, and burning like the Korath Desert.
E quanto custa curso de magia?
Just out of curiosity, how much does a magic course cost these days?
I'm certain you can't afford it, Witcher. Besides, you're too old.
No matter. I have a few of my own tricks as it is.
You mean Witcher's signs? Philippa can conjure up the illusion of a garden full of flowers, fruit trees, and young elves of both sexes copulating merrily all the day. And the illusion is complete. The flowers have an aroma. The fruit and she-elves are juicy.
Invite me over the next time she conjures up this garden. I'd gladly see it. Professional curiosity.
Naturally. But I doubt Philippa's in the mood for complicated illusions. She focuses all her efforts on Saskia.
Tome cuidado. Tenha cuidado. Onde está Triss Merigold? Atualização. Descobriu-se que em Vergen vivia alguém que poderia ter entrado em contato com Triss. Um anão viu uma mulher ruiva caindo dos céus. O bruxo presumiu que não se tratava de uma passageira de uma vassoura rebelde e supôs que fosse Triss caindo de um portal. Ele imediatamente foi fazer uma visita ao anão. Caçando magia, atualização. Um dos ingredientes necessários para a cura da matadora de dragões era um artefato mágico, um item que irradia uma energia poderosa. A feiticeira não podia simplesmente criar um na hora, e o tempo estava contra eles. Assim, o bruxo dirigiu-se para perguntar ao redor da cidade sobre interseções mágicas, ruínas, lendas de qualquer tesouro ou sobre lugares onde poderia encontrar o item que ele precisava. Entrando nas ruas, Geralt pensava profundamente sobre quais pessoas da cidade poderiam saber sobre as histórias que ele procurava. O símbolo da morte. Um dos artefatos necessários para dissipar a maldição devia simbolizar a morte. O bruxo não tinha nem ideia do que estava procurando. Então seguiu o conselho de Philippa e decidiu falar com Cecil Burdon. O conselheiro municipal de Vergen sabia muito sobre a batalha entre os exércitos de Caedwin e Aerdrin, então, provavelmente, ele dará uma boa pista ao bruxo. O símbolo do ódio. Quando o bruxo entendeu que para acabar com a maldição ele precisava de artefatos de batalha que representassem as virtudes e os horrores da guerra, ficou muito preocupado. Ele não sabia quase nada dos confrontos entre os exércitos de Aerdin e Caedwin. Philippa Eilhart lhe disse para falar com Cecil Burdon, o conselheiro municipal de Vergen. Ele era um grande entendedor do assunto. Então, Geralt foi falar com o anão a respeito da batalha. É melhor eu ir falar com o Cecil, então, que ele está em 2 missões. Onde está o Burdon?
Well, I'll be plowed by a ferret.
Yeah. Witcher Geralt of Rivia.
Ah, you're a witcher like any other. But those swords, things of beauty.
Nothing special about them.
Ah, you're mistaken. Few know how to make a silver blade today, fish eat me if I'm lying, and engraving runes is not exactly farting down a rain spout. I wouldn't mind a closer look at your swords. Care to browse through my wares?
Poker de dados, me prepare um item, vamos negociar.
Beautifully crafted. May a chinchilla piss on me.
Já sabe onde tem ferreiro quando precisar.
What's this? Clad in hues of green, amid shrubs ye see.
People of Vergen, we have a magical mist full of ghosts just outside our walls, so you'd better think twice before entering it. The mist, may the plague take it, threatens all manner of creatures, so anyone headed to the quarries or walking through the gullies should take exceptional heed. The squirrels that have made camp by the burnt huts are not our enemies, so says Saskia, and so it is. Master Geralt of Rivia and Sorceress Philippa Eilhart will deal with the mist and the wraiths. And now, open the gates and get to work.
Conhece alguém que participou da batalha de 3 anos atrás?
Cecil, do you know anyone who fought in the war 3 years ago?
I did.
Did you fight here at Vergen?
Course.
Philippa claims you know a bit about the battle.
That old cook insult, called king by some, thought that Adernians were bumpkins who'd ship bricks as soon as his troops crossed the river.
Why did he attack Edern?
According to Henselt, Upper Edern is the ancient legacy of the Kedwenny crown and must be returned to the mother country. Brazen farter.
That brazen farter had a point. If you read some history, you'll know that 300 years ago this land belonged to Kedwen.
Load of crab. 700 years ago the elves reigned here, and 1,000,000 years ago these lands were the domain of the worms. If things worked that way, every king could invade a neighboring land and claim his right to do so because an ancestor took a dump there.
All right. Hensel wanted to conquer Upper Edern. What then?
He rolled in, got hammered, and rolled out.
Cecil, that doesn't help me much.
It wasn't a battle. It was a slaughter. If I try speaking of it, I'll see it all again. I don't want.
The ghosts of the fallen fight in the mist. They turn into horrible creatures called Draugrs. Eternians, Kedwenny, men, elves, and dwarves too.
Bloody hell. No peace even after death.
I want to help them, but I need to know more about the battle.
Very well. Listen. A beautiful day that grew hot later. Very hot. When Van de Grift attacked in the afternoon, he sent the Dun banner at the fore. Many of our lads shit themselves at the mere sight of their standard, but we had a surprise of our own. Under the cover of night, we prepared fire pits. Our archers lit them up at the right moment. I still can't believe we managed to fool their scouts. If it wasn't for that ambush, we wouldn't be speaking today. They likely wouldn't be in Upper Edern at all. We decimated the Dun banner, but that was only the beginning. Seltkirk was our commander. Everywhere he appeared, the Kedwennies gave ground. He wreaked havoc among them. Hearts rose at the mere sight of his armor. Then, Van de Grift himself entered the fray. Seltkirk met him in the middle of the field. In the end, Van de Grift killed Seltkirk. A terrible death that sent the Adernian ranks into disarray. I thought it was the end of us. Then the sky fell, as if the stars themselves had decided to avenge the death of a great knight. Fire covered the battlefield. Nobody sought the enemy. They were all looking for somewhere to flee. Yes, there were no more friends and enemies, only the living and the dead. They say it was the doing of a Kedwenny sorceress who wanted revenge on Van de Grift. Could be true, as Henselt had her executed right after the battle.
Você viu o duelo entre Seltkirk e Van der Grift?
Did you see the duel between Seltkirk and Van der Grift?
I stood half a furlong from them. Never seen a fight like it. Probably never will again. They'd already met once at a jousting tournament in Ardcarreg. Seltkirk won there. He beat on the visitor so hard he broke his sword. Seltkirk was a true knight, the last of his breed. Van de Grift was so pissed off after that tournament he hanged the smith who made his sword and ordered a special one from a sorcerer. I bet he cut down Seltkirk with that new sword.
Van de Grift is dead. What happened to his sword?
Saskia's got it. Good thing too. Only her hand can tame the hatred enchanted in that sword. After the battle, when the flames abated, the scavengers came. They stole everything. Imagine, not a single keepsake of Seltkirk in the whole of Edern. His brother babbles something about a gauntlet, but he's a lying dog.
E o que aconteceu com a bandeira de Dum-Durum-Dum-Dum?
You captured the Dun banner standard?
Henselt's choice troops, and not a one survived. The visitors sent them to their deaths. Refused to give them reinforcements. He was a monster in human form. The men of the Dun were real swaggerers. Killed a lot of our lads, but for every Dunner, there were 7 Adernians. They had no chance. Aye, we captured their standard. We buried what was left of them in the crypts beyond Vergen. Their standard lies with them. Worthy foes are to be respected, even in death.
I'm going to need that standard.
Como é que a batalha começou?
Remember anything from before the battle?
As if it was yesterday. Henselt's troops crossed the Pontard the 3rd day after the autumn equinox. Edern had good spies, so we were ready for them, and Seltkirk lined up our troops along the hills. Our hearts rose at the sight of the banners of Wengerberg, Aldersberg and Gullet fluttering in the wind. Knights and armoured infantry side by side in our ranks. Even the peasants had their regiments. The dwarves were on the left flank. Over 5,000 strong we were. Nobody caring about race or background, like never before. Only King Demavend was missing, but he must have had more important business than defending his country.
Viram os Caeldianos cruzarem o rio?
You saw the Kidwennies cross the river?
From afar, I saw Vandegrift leading 4,000 heavily armed men. Many a heart sank when we saw the elite bearheads or the armoured banners from Ardcarrig. The Dun banner was in the middle, veterans of Brenna. As soon as he set foot on Adernian land, Vandegrift climbed a hill and surveyed the area, as if it was his fief. Son of a bitch was as sure of himself as ever. Upon spying him, I remember the dwarves all dropped their trousers and showed him their asses. Then Selkirk stepped out in front of us. His white armour shone in the sun. We were afraid a Kidwenny arbalist would shoot him, but they too stood as if frozen, and Selkirk just looked at them and bowed ever so slightly.
Muito obrigadinho, viu, seu moço? Apareça sempre.
Thanks, Cecil, that was helpful. I think I know what I need to lift the curse now.
Madame Eilhard claims you need 4 symbols. The standard symbolizes death. Vandegrift's sword stands for hatred. What about the other 2?
I have a feeling Philippa has a handle on the rest.
Here's hoping you're right.
O símbolo do ódio, atualização. Cécio não desapontou o bruxo. Ele sabia de muito e compartilhou seu conhecimento numa boa. O conselheiro municipal disse a Geralt que somente a espada infame de Vandergrift, batizada de ódio, um nome tão temido e tão apropriado, poderia ser o símbolo do ódio. Infelizmente, a espada se encontrava nas mãos de Saskia, a matadora de dragões, que estava quase morrendo por envenenamento. Embora o bruxo tivesse experiência em roubar mortos e moribundos, decidiu ser prudente neste caso. O símbolo da morte, atualização. Depois de ouvir a difícil situação do bruxo, Cecil Burdon coçou a barba e começou a contar a história sobre a bandeira de Doom. Era uma unidade da cavalaria rápida caeldiana, conhecida muito além das fronteiras do reino de Henselt. Seus soldados participaram da batalha e seus estandartes, facilmente reconhecidos por qualquer veterano do norte, poderiam muito bem ser o símbolo da morte. Os estandartes da unidade foram enterrados na cripta da floresta junto com os soldados falecidos. O bruxo tinha que encontrar a tumba e o artefato. A vida e a morte da Rosa Branca. A história da Rosa Branca de Sherued é triste e trágica. Há mais de 200 anos, a Irlilen levou um exército de elfos jovens em uma luta desesperada contra os humanos. Esse traço heróico só podia terminar numa maneira. Eles morreram pela liberdade, por cada pedra e mármore da sua cidade. Eles morreram por Aerlin. Assim como ela prometeu, eles morreram com dignidade, heroísmo, honra, mas os elfos não foram capazes de levantar novamente após a derrota. Ainda assim, ela continua sendo um símbolo da luta pela liberdade e elfos insurgentes ainda vão à batalha com o nome dela em seus lábios. A Chama Branca. Entre todos os governantes daquela época, não se pode omitir o imperador nilfgaardiano Emhyr var Enreis, conhecido como Karn Aep ei Detuen Morvud Adan, o que significa, na língua antiga, chama branca que dança sobre os túmulos de seus inimigos. Reis do Buin ao Yaruga tremem ao som de seu nome. Suas legiões revestidas de aço esmagaram países e destronaram reis. Em sua insaciável ambição, ele já havia tentado conquistar o norte em várias ocasiões, mas foi forçado a assinar o Tratado de Paz. Embora ele não apareça pessoalmente em nossa história, sua sombra caiu várias vezes sobre os eventos descritos aqui. Então é isso. Hoje vamos parando por aqui. O Exou Biribó, agradecendo a presença, o apoio, as dicas, a torcida, desejando boa noite, até amanhã. Por enquanto eu fui.